The views and opinions expressed by the participants on this show are not necessarily those of Stewart Information Services Corporation, Stewart Title, or Stewart Insurance. Before you make any investment, you should seek the advice of your investment advisor or attorney.
Whether you're a real estate broker, realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, everything matters when it comes to real estate. This is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Stewart Title's Bill Knapik and guests open the door to what really matters in owning, buying, and selling real estate. And now, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, brought to you by Stewart Insurance. Here to inform, entertain, and inspire, Bill Knapik.
Welcome to the show. It is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Thank you for joining us today. A super show is ahead. As always, we have top real estate professionals, and as it is getting hot, we're going to talk about one of the most important systems in our home, and that is the AC. It's life support right here in Houston, Texas for at least 5 months out of the year. So it is time to get down to business on Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. We are going to talk with Neosha Ferris with RE/MAX Legacy Living. Neosha, welcome to the show.
Hey there. How are you doing today?
Well, we're going to talk a little bit about real estate. I'm great. And by the way, mothers out there, happy Mother's Day to all of you. Mothers are so awesome and are so special in all of our lives. And happy Mother's Day to you, as you have how many children?
Thank you so much. I have 4 kids, 3 girls and 1 boy.
There you go. What a super day. Well, let's tell people, Neosha, as far as real estate goes and the marketplace, let's tell them about your company first.
I'm at RE/MAX Legacy Living. I've been there for about 4 years. The company is great. My broker is Jamila Winsey and Patrick Winsey, and I just really work with residential buyers, commercial investors.
And as far as the market right now, I mean, it is supersonic almost everywhere in the country, in fact, as I check around. But let's tell people your area, the areas that you focus on geographically, and give us an idea what's going on there.
Yes, I usually do Houston and surrounding cities, but here lately, a lot of my buyers have been venturing towards the 288 South out towards Pearland area, where those new construction subdivisions are forming, Pomona, Del Bello, and Meridiana.
Tell us about those areas, because one of the things, there's so many things right now that are motivating people to buy, to sell. And I think one of those motivating factors on the buying end is some of us want a brand new home, brand new construction. So tell us about some of those communities, especially Meridiana. I've been down there in the early stages, and I really liked it.
Yes, a lot of the communities are offering more, trying to accommodate more to the families with children, also with people that are in the medical field and things like that. So they're offering different like camps within the community for the children to go to when parents are working and things like that. The builders are really trying to accommodate to building those bigger homes as well for the bigger families, or just they're wanting that to be where you stay for the next 10 or 15 years. So they're trying to accommodate to that square footage in the rooms.
And as far as availability of product, as far as the Meridiana and the other developments, let's take in that Pearland area, is it easier to buy homes? Because right now it is pretty hard. There's a lot of multiple offers. We know that every week we talk about it. But what about the new construction in that area of 288 and the Pearland? Is it any easier? Give us a word on that. We hope it's easier.
So the T is what I just found out. The new construction are actually, since the inventory is so low, what they've been doing is the builders are finding it easier to accommodate to the buyers by releasing 2 homes at a time. That way, as soon as it comes on, it's giving everybody a fair deal instead of pre-selling so far out to where they can't catch up with the building and then it's delaying closing. So the latest information that I've got is releasing 2 at a time per community, per builders, and that seems to be working better for everyone because they hit the market and everyone has a fair chance of seeing it or knowing when it's going to be available.
It's very interesting. And as the real estate professional, and you and others have had to adapt to this crazy market, what are some of the things that how do you coach that buyer? Let's say someone has not known about, maybe they don't listen to the show, maybe they're not talking to people buying and selling, but let's say they don't know what the market's like and they just say, oh, we want to buy a house. Let's call Neosha. They call you. How do you coach them to get ready for this different market right now?
Well, first of all, I just try to be as transparent as possible with my clients, especially with this current market that we are in. So I just go ahead and ask them all of the questions that I'm sure every realtor asks them. Are they pre-approved already? And if they need help with their credit, so that we can get all those things in order, so that when the homes are available, then they're ready to go. And then I step in and do my job and make sure that they're able to get that contract executed.
And then as far as the part of when the home comes on the market, because other than putting an offer and having other offers in on a given home, as far as the part of even the availability when it comes on the market, when I see listings, especially if I look in other cities for research, I see it where it says new listing on the market 2 hours. And It may not be on the market in 6 hours. So getting there and seeing it, you have to be very nimble and very quick, right?
Yes, correct. So on my end, I stay in touch with a lot of the builders. I try to stay present in the communities to see what's coming up, to make sure it's going to reach some of my buyers' needs. But also we have that option of the coming soon. So I'll search that as well to see if there's something that's going to be available right away, that accommodates to my buyers' time frame.
And so having that knowledge and having that ready to go, that can help the buyers too. As far as sellers, how are you advising the sellers right now?
The sellers, I'm just making sure that they are being realistic and staying in the fair market prices. I'm making sure that the homes are inspected prior to being listed and all those wonderful things. Because if you're going to want to, a lot of these offers that are coming in, they're saying that they'll skip option period, which is usually when people do their inspection. So my sellers, I've advised that it would be, just another nice feature to give to the buyers if there was an inspection already in place. If there was some sellers will do that, some may not care, but my sellers have been wonderful to be able to have these documents ready in case they are needed for the buyer to come in.
None of us have the crystal ball, but I wonder if you were to speculate, how long do you think this is going to last like this?
Oh,
is it just going to keep going? If you were to guess, next year at this time, what do you think the market's going to be like?
I'm hoping next year at this time that it's kind of calmed down, that there won't be so many. I mean, it's a blessing, don't get me wrong, but it has been also heartbreaking for a lot of buyers that are out there that are just missing out on the deals. So I kind of hope it slows down a little bit and it's not more so about people that's just coming to purchase it just to purchase it. And then it's, could have taken away the dream of a family or something.
Well, that's right. There are people that are disappointed because if there's a home and there's multiple offers, only one family, one person gets that home, and then there's others that have to keep looking, and it's the work of looking, the work of the paperwork, and probably more work for the real estate professional too.
Well, yes, I feel like I've been a counselor as well as coming on with my job title here lately. I've been definitely just reassuring the client that they are not doing anything wrong, that it is just the current market that we are in. I don't allow my buyers to give up anything that I know that they deserve when we submit the offer. So if that means that we lose an offer, at least I know that I had them protected in every way possible, and they can walk away feeling good about that instead of giving away the cat and the dog with the offer. So the reassurance is there, and just knowing the right one will come. I had a client, they were waiting for 2 or 3 months, but now they've found their dream home. So they are just thrilled and can't wait.
Well, and that's a good point. The real estate, even years ago, at any point in time, the real estate professional has to be so many things. A counselor has always been there. Now it's a different kind of counseling, different problems, but also the encouragement factor has to be there. You have to encourage people along because residential real estate, as we know, is an emotional thing too. A lot of emotions come into play. Why people buy, why people sell, attached to homes and things like that. So, yeah, you got to be that counselor. I bet you do pretty good at that.
Yes. Being the mother of 4, I feel like I can kind of navigate through those emotions pretty easily and kind of take that wheel and help guide people through. With my job, I'm used to hearing if a offer is declined, but when you have buyers, they're not used to hearing that as much as they've been hearing that these days. It's really sad. But again, I just re-encourage them and we get back on the road.
Give us an idea. Let's say, because a lot of people out there are in this position as far as a buyer goes, whether it's a family or individual, let's say they're working with you and they don't get the offer is not accepted. So that means you have to go with them and find another home. What happens then? What's the mindset with that buyer? What do they say? And then how do we make sure they get the next home? What happens there?
The mindset is just really, the strategy I've been using lately is we go see a few homes, and then they tell me their top 3, submit the offer. If it's accepted, then we move on to the next one. So they usually have a backup plan to what works for them with their family.
And as far as the offer goes, how often are you seeing in your situations people paying more than the list price or offering more than the list? Is it like all the time now? Is it that bad?
Well, in my case, we have not done that. We're either right at asking. Before it got really crazy, we were a lot of my clients got in at the right time, but I just had the 2 clients just here that sat on it for a minute. But a lot of mine are getting the right at asking, or again, we're dealing with the new construction builders more so than the resales.
And going back to the new construction again, if someone were to approach you and say, look, I want to buy new construction, I want to work with you, and they say, I think you mentioned 3, one of them is Meridiana, but you mentioned 2 other developments, I think. But out of those 3, if I said, I just want to get a house in one of these nice brand new homes and I want to buy it ASAP, how soon could I have a house?
With new construction, again, if they're putting their homes out that are fully built, like 2 homes at a time, then they could get in there quickly if they're ready to move that fast. But if they want the option of building from dirt and waiting until the next one is available, that's about 3 to 5 months with some of these builders.
There you go. And of all the things you can be doing in life, what is it about real estate that attracts you and keeps you here in the real estate world?
I love real estate. I love that the main thing is just helping people find a home. That's the best feeling in the world for me. It's just helping someone find a home, and it makes me available to those 4 kids.
There you go. Hey, Mom, are you going to go show homes again? Did you ever hear that?
Yes, and they usually want to go with me.
Listen, I was going to say, if I had 4 children, I think I'm going to develop them into my helpers.
Yeah, my 2 little ones, they love to go help me put out my listing signs, and then when it sells, they love to go pull the signs out.
And let's tell people how they can reach out to you. Before we do that, though, we want to thank Michelle Racinos as Stuart Title for bringing you on the show right there in our Sugar Land office. So we thank you, Michelle. And again, how can people reach you?
Yes, thank you so much, Michelle. And everyone can reach me at 832-368-6288. And again, my name is Neosha Ferris. Everyone knows me as Yoshi.
And the number again is
832-368-6288.
And thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
If you're a real estate professional, then listen closely. Cyber criminals are targeting our industry. They are impersonating real estate professionals, homebuyers, sellers, and title agents. Their goal is to gain access to your inboxes, computers, and clients so they can steal information and funds. Does your business insurance offset these risks? Not sure? Contact Stewart Insurance to determine if your business is properly insured. Visit stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827. Visit stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827.
Houston, Texas. Yeah, it gets hot. In fact, I call it life support. We need it right here 5 months at least per year. Air conditioning is so important. We have a company right now. We have Olivia Durr and Aaron Childress. The company's called Just Fix It. They're in the air conditioning business. Hey, guys, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
How you doing?
There you go. Olivia, and there's Aaron right there. First of all, guys, let's tell people, Just Fix It, relatively new company. Let's tell them about your company.
Yeah, absolutely. So we do everything that you need for your AC, repairs, replacements, installations. Our difference is in our name, so we just fix it. We make it easy for you with no gimmicks or high-pressure sales.
You know what was interesting? As we talked before this segment started, that is the name of your company. I kind of figured it out right away, right?
That's the hope.
So when someone has someone come, whether it's air conditioning or something else, someone comes to your home and then they start explaining all the ins and the diagrams and, hey, just fix it, right?
Absolutely.
There you go. That's a great name.
Thank you.
The beauty is people can remember that, right?
We hope so.
So let's tell us a little bit more as far as air conditioning. First of all, Aaron, what are the things that are most common problems when someone calls about it? They just call and say, hey, it just doesn't work. And when you get out there, what do you find are the most common problems?
Some of the most common problems in our industry at the start of the air conditioning season is going to be water leaks, water problems, maybe a capacitor or something like that. That's most common.
When you say water leaks, now are you talking through the ceiling?
Yeah, so hopefully it doesn't come through the ceiling at first. Hopefully you have the protection. There's things out there to protect you from that.
You're talking about the drain pan?
Yeah, float switches on the drain pan will help you protect you from getting water damage or anything like that. But coming up and first coming to the house, usually we see stopped up drain lines, stuff like that, because it sat dormant over the winter.
Right.
And what happens is that sludge kind of dries out, and then now you introduce water. In our region, we move about 5 gallons of water per hour when you're 100 degrees outside. So it's very important to make sure that your drain lines are clear and you have safety on those drain lines.
All right, let's say that again. So what are you saying when it's really hot, close to 100 degrees, and the air conditioning is running for 5 hours, it's moving how much water?
About 5 gallons per hour.
That's a lot of water.
Yeah, so just think about being up in the attic and taking a gallon of water and just dumping it onto your ceiling. Yeah, so you don't want that happening.
Nobody wants that. So the drain pans, that kind of also lends us to the idea of what can we do in terms of preventive maintenance, and I'm thinking about that drain pan, but let's tell people about that and what else we can do to make sure that we're ready for the heat that's going to really hit us in another couple of weeks.
Yeah, you should definitely get a tune-up, especially on the AC side. You should have a reputable, licensed air conditioning contractor come out, look over the system. What they should be doing is making sure those drain lines are draining properly before the start of the heavy bulk of the season, where that heat starts to bear down on all of us here in Texas.
So it sounds like the technician, and correct me if I'm wrong, needs to go to the outside units in the attic to look at the drain or the drain pan, and then where else? Kind of those are the two main places.
Yeah, both those places need to be checking the filter, checking the filter up in the attic, checking the drain lines, checking airflow, really just doing a really good once over on the system to make sure it's operating properly, and it's you're trying to prevent things from happening when the summer hits.
Just fix it, Aaron. I don't need to know all that. I'm just kidding. Exactly. So in the meantime, so Olivia, let's tell people you're in the marketing arm of the company. Give us an idea. Here we are in Houston, Texas. We know we need the air conditioner. And people, I think if they're smart, one of the things they're going to do is jot your number down right away so that when something happens, or if they want some preventative help, they could do that. But we need to be ready. But as far as marketing, what are you doing to get the word out here? Where just like realtors, there's a ton of realtors. There's a lot of air conditioning companies out there. How do you get the word out and tell people about your distinctions?
Well, besides being here with you, we have a couple.
The first step, yes.
We have a couple of new billboards that are coming up. One this week, a couple the next week. We've got a commercial that we just shot last week. But really what we're trying to do is get the message out to people that we're an AC provider that they can really trust to be their partner in maintaining their home, that we're not just coming in the door trying to sell them something. We're really just trying to help them fix it and empower them to make the best decisions for their home.
Well, in fact, that is the key word in any kind of business that we do. Trust is so important, right? I mean, whether it's AC, whether it's picking the right real estate professional for your home, you must have that feeling of trust with them. And if you can achieve that, and you do that by doing great work at fair prices and standing behind it.
Absolutely.
Sounds simple, but sometimes.
Right. No, another thing that we offer is our fix-it guarantee. So we always guarantee that we're going to provide an option to just fix the problem, even if we do think it's time to go ahead and replace your equipment, and that is oftentimes can be the right recommendation. We do start by addressing the problem at hand.
So in that case, but you will say, like if you were to be at my house and you fix the capacitor, like you were saying, Aaron, right? So you fix that. Now I'm back. I'm getting cool air out. However, if you see that my air conditioner's has another problem, something's whatever, you're going to mention that to me, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll give you a full kind of rundown of everything that's going on. We just give that guarantee that we will give you a fixed first option, and then from there it's going to be up to you. But we'll still go through the whole process with you. so you can make a decision that's best fit for you.
I would think, too, it depends on the home's age. But if I were to buy a home that's a little older and the AC came with it in the 80s or something, I may just say, hey, I want a new system, and then you're quoting new systems then, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And that's one of the things on the inspection report that we like to kind of watch out for is the age of the equipment. What is that age? What's the time frame? 10 to 12 years, 10 to 15 years, you're looking at just in efficiency. You should be looking at replacement.
Let alone the difference now in the refrigerants, right? That's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, that's a good point. So as of 2020, R22 refrigerant is not being able to be produced anymore. Now they've stockpiled it, but as it continues to run out, that cost of that refrigerant is just going to skyrocket. So anytime you have a chance, you should change over to the new refrigerant, which is R410.
R410. It's hard to keep track because I remember there used to be Freon.
Yeah.
Right, that was a whole nother world.
Yeah, Freon
right?
was just a name for refrigerant.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as far as the inspections, right? So when someone buys a home or they're in the process of buying a home, they get the home inspected, but the inspector can only do so much. You were mentioning something about that, Olivia.
Right, and it kind of just speaks to what Aaron was saying. Home inspectors are so important and great because they have so much general knowledge about so many different trades, but they can't go into complete depth on every single trade. So knowing the key things that are important with each one. So with your AC system, it's good to know the age of the equipment, not just the outdoor condenser, but the equipment in your attic as well, because that can go bad as well and is often forgotten here in Houston, where we're only thinking about that big chunk of metal outside that's keeping us cool. The stuff on the inside is important as well.
So would it be safe to say sometimes the inspector looks around and they're not going to tear the AC apart, but they may say to the potential buyer, hey, you better have an AC company come out?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because I remember I bought a property and the guy saw some things on the roof and he said, you better have a roofer come out. So there's sometimes during the buying process, people need to consult the experts like you.
Absolutely, yeah. And we can come out and take a look, depending on what the inspection report says, and just give a once over and kind of give you some, key things to look for, or even tell you the age of the equipment. We can read the age of the equipment by the serial number.
And even though the heat is going to be upon us, and I don't look forward to it. By the way, just a side note, a friend of mine today is moving from Houston, Texas to Washington State. And I thought, man, what a perfect time to go to cooler weather, just getting off on a different track. But in the meantime, as far as it's upon us, so we want to do preventative things. But let's just pretend it's the wintertime. Even in December, you're going to help people with heaters, I'm guessing, right? You're in that business as well. So if they have a problem with the heater, they're going to call you in December.
Yeah, the heating portion of the tune-up is more for safety. You want to check,
especially gas, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So you want to definitely get the heating tune-up. So the heating tune-up is a little bit different than the AC tune-up. Heating is going to just look at your safety, make sure all the safety devices are working. You don't want to know that you have a safety problem when there's an issue, right? So just preventative maintenance, just go, have a reputable licensed company come out, take a look, check all those safety devices in the furnace, make sure it's...
And by the way, that is my favorite time of the month for my air conditioner in December when it's not running. I just like to not hear it.
You're not alone. You're not alone.
You've heard that before, right, Olivia?
I mean, I say it myself sometimes. I can't blame you.
What are some of the other things we should know, Olivia?
So one part of our industry that's becoming better known, but that we definitely want homeowners to be aware of, is that they can not only improve the comfort of the temperature of their air, they can also improve the quality of their air. So there's a lot of technology that's been developed that helps indoor air quality. So there's things out there that can kill viruses, bacteria, allergens, things like that in folks' homes. There's UV lamps that have been used in hospital and commercial settings for decades that are now residentially available. So we install those type of systems. We install really big filters right at your equipment. So that takes away the need to change the 1-inch filters all the time. It's one that only needs to be changed once a year. It's called a media filter. And of course, Aaron taught me all of this, everything I know. So I'm looking at him
He's a
for
good
my...
guy to hang out with. And by the way, as you mentioned filtration, let's tell people, how important is it to change that $10 filter? I mean, if there's some
Don't
people...
get him started, Bill.
I'm guessing that there's some people out there that don't change their filters frequently enough. And let's tell people, Aaron, that's important.
Yeah, so the number one cause of system failure is dust and dirt. Right? So if you don't change your filter, then dust and dirt's going to get past that filter and it's going to get on your system, and then your system has systematic failure. So if you want to reduce failure in your system, then just be on top of changing your filter.
And how often should you change your filter? It depends, but go ahead, right?
Yeah, there's different filters. There's different types of filters. But as the summer comes, your system runs more.
That's
so
right.
You need to change your filter more. So even if you have a 3-month filter that says, hey, change it every 3 months, your run time on your air conditioner has went up. So you need to replace it more than what it's actually saying.
What about setting your temperature for homes? And there are many that have upstairs and downstairs, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have two systems. Okay. How should we set those to have the right temperature? Let's say we want it at 74. What should we do upstairs and down?
Yeah. It all depends on the house. Not all houses are created equal. They're building houses now, or they have built houses with open floor plans. At that point, open floor plans, you probably need to keep a pretty common temperature upstairs and downstairs. If you have a floor plan where it's not open and you have an actual upstairs and downstairs, you can vary that a little bit. But all in all, you should probably keep it around the same, both settings. Yeah. And then it all depends on if you're going to be leaving the home for a long period of time. I would recommend turning it up. But if you're only going to be gone 2-3 hours and then you're coming back, don't even mess with it. Just leave it where it's at. It holds temperature a lot easier than bringing it down to the temperature.
Because the walls absorb the cool. You want to kind of keep it.
Yeah, so not just the walls, but your furniture absorbs heat. Your furniture absorbs cold air. It all is relative inside the home.
There you go. And Olivia, before we close out the segment, what else would you like people to know?
Yeah, so if they haven't booked their tune-up for this spring, they can do that on our website, which is justfixittoday.com. They can also call us at 281-617-2231 and talk to one of my amazing team members that can get them all booked up. And again, that's 281-617-2231.
And the website again?
justfixittoday.com.
I like that. Just fix it today.
And then all of our social media as well. We put out videos every week with the type of information Aaron's been sharing. So, he's got a lot in that brain. We're trying to give it to the people. So
there you go. And also, we want to say hello. I got to know your father, Tony. He's a super guy, by the way.
He's a master electrician. He's an excellent tradesman. And part of why I love being in this industry is shining a light on the amazing work that tradespeople do, because it's not often something that is the job that everybody wants to get into. It's starting to be a little bit because people realize there's a shortage, but I love being in an industry where I can kind of give back to the craft that my father has.
And he's from New Zealand, but that's for another show. Thank you so much. Let's tell them the phone number again of justfixittoday.com.
281-617-2231.
And thank you so much.
In today's litigious society, it is imperative to have the proper insurance to offset the many risks facing your business, especially if you're a real estate broker. Your errors and omissions and cyber liability insurance can help limit the threat of these risks if you know what to look for. Not sure if your insurance addresses the risks facing your business? Contact Stewart Insurance to be confident your brokerage can withstand these risks. Stewart Insurance, 866-798-2827, stewartinsurance.com. That's stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827.
Let's talk to Chuck Passe. He is with Coldwell Bankers in the Heights here in beautiful Houston, Texas. Hey, Chuck, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Let's tell people the Heights is renowned around, not just in Houston, everyone knows about it, but outside of Houston, people hear about it. Let's tell them first about Coldwell Bankers right in the Heights.
Well, we've been there forever. We're at 1505 Heights Boulevard. Big blue house. You can't miss it.
There you go. As far as Heights Boulevard, right there, there's a distinction in Houston, Texas. It is a beautiful boulevard. And as far as historic, give us a little idea of what people see when they go up and down Heights Boulevard.
A bunch of beautiful old Victorian-style homes, all historic district right there. And then you've got in the middle of the Esplanade there, nice walking path, bunch of art features.
People walking dogs there a lot, too. I've seen that.
A lot.
As far as the market, we hear about the briskness of the market, but in the Heights, it's a little bit different. It's a lot as far as the price point. Give us an idea what the price points start at in the Heights for any kind of home, whether it's new construction or not. But where's the starting point right now?
Well, it varies. I mean, you can get into new construction in the 300s. That said, you can also spend up to $2 million. I mean, it does vary.
As far as in the 300s, that's the lower end of the Heights area. But really, can people buy stuff at that price? That seems pretty low. That's great. What can you get for 300 maybe?
Absolutely. I mean, you can get a 2-1 bungalow. You can get a 3-2 new construction in Independence Heights, which is still the Heights, but it's just right outside the loop.
Let's say west of the Heights, I guess it would be, is it Oak Forest? Give us an idea of some of those areas that, I guess, is that still called the Heights or is that its own thing? Take Oak Forest, for example.
So it is its own area, known as the Garden Oaks, Oak Forest area. I am actually a resident. I've been in Oak Forest since 2007. Big time growing population there. A lot of new construction as well.
And that's also, I was there not that long ago, and it seems like it's one of the places where the homes are older, as in, I don't know what year, but maybe they were built in the 60s or 70s. Would that be safe to say? And there's a lot of renovation going on.
There is. I would say the majority of them are actually 50s, but 60s and 50s and 60s, but the majority is early 50s, early to mid 50s.
So one of the neighborhoods where we're seeing homes that are being either remodeled extensively or some of them are being torn down and they're putting up like the $1 million home right there.
Absolutely. I actually have one right next door to my house, and you're seeing it more and more, and it's becoming just the norm.
As far as, again, Oak Forest, what is the drawing point there? What is drawing people to that area? Because I know it's very exciting right now.
Well, there are a number of things. I think one of the major factors is it is deed restricted. They can't come in and build 4-story houses like they can in the Heights. You do have certain rules you have to follow as far as the HOA is concerned. It's not a huge HOA that's very cumbersome. You have Oak Forest Elementary there, which is one of, if not the best elementary school in HISD, which is a big draw as well.
So that's real important. As far as the buyers that will come to you and they say, hey, Chuck, I want to buy a home in Oak Forest or anywhere in that Heights area, how are you advising them right now?
Well, be patient. It's tough to find stuff, and when you do find something that you're willing to buy, the chances of getting it are, I would say at this point, 50-50.
Well, and then if they don't get it, they go to the next one, right?
That's right.
So I think one of the things we're learning here is if you're a buyer, and even referencing past shows, you have to be patient. You have to really stick to it. And when you get rejection, just keep on going, right?
That's exactly right. And I think that's probably one of the harder things is getting your hopes up. Oh, this could be the one. This could be the one. And then they didn't accept our offer again. And like you said, it is an emotional experience. So
no question about it. As far as the $1 million properties, right now, $1 million in the Heights also can only get you so much too. Give us an idea, though, what you can buy for $1 million in that area.
Well, the $1 million properties vary, and a lot of that has to do with size and age. And you can get something as small as a 3-2 that's still $1 million property, but it's really, really, really nice. But you can also find your 4-4s and 5s.
And as far as the $1 million, let's say, or 1.2 or whatever, is that new construction? Can you find new construction in that price range?
You can. There's new construction, but a lot of that price range is kind of the older remodeled bungalows that have been added on to.
And give us a word also. Coldwell Bankers, they've been around in the Heights for a long time. What are some of the distinctions with your company? And as far as you chose Coldwell Bankers, what is it about that company that drew you to them?
I think first and foremost is they're the number one brand in real estate in the United States. So there's that. But as the training that they provide their agents is second to none. And I think that's really what, was my draw.
As far as the marketing, when you take on a listing, let's say, what are some of the marketing things that are being done, even though it's a brisk market right now? What are some of the things that your company's doing or what you're doing to market a property if you take my listing, let's say?
So at Coldwell Banker, we have what's called a listing concierge. And basically, it's a whole plethora of items we have to list or to promote the house. It's the social media, it's all the ads, across all the platforms. And we even have a TV show that your home will be featured on, and it airs on Channel 39 on Sundays.
There you go, just like this radio show.
Just like this radio show.
So if I have my home listed with you, what are the chances of my home being on TV? Is pretty good, it sounds like.
It's pretty good. All of our listings, we do the gold level concierge package, and that also gets you beautiful printed material as well.
And of all the things you could be doing here besides real estate, what is it about real estate that drew you?
A lot of it is the freedom to be the dad at my son's baseball games, but also I'm a salesperson by nature, so.
So there you go, real estate. And right now, it's changed since last year pretty dramatically, I would say, right?
It has. I believe the pandemic has, changed the way a lot of people, think about it.
And if someone's listening, let's say they're listening from another state, and we mentioned the Heights here in Houston, and people in Houston, of course, know the Heights, but if someone's listening from another state, how would you describe the Heights for them to have a visual reference, let's say?
A lot of really awesome bars and restaurants with outdoor seating. You'll find a lot of dog parks and, outdoor areas.
In fact, I guess I keep hearing, haven't driven through there lately, but there's a lot of, like you're saying, new restaurants, new grocery stores. A lot of top things are coming to the Heights and have been in the last couple of years, right?
Absolutely, yeah. There's a huge new H-E-B right there on Shepherd, and restaurants always popping up.
And before we close the segment, Chuck, what else would you like people to know?
You can just go to my website at chuckpasse.com. That's Passe, or they can call me directly or text 713-392-0600.
And the number again is?
713-392-0600.
The website?
chuckpasse.com.
Passe, chuckpasse.com. Thank you, Chuck, for being on the show.
Thank you.
In today's litigious society, it is imperative to have the proper insurance to offset the many risks facing your business, especially if you're a real estate broker. Your errors and omissions and cyber liability insurance can help limit the threat of these risks if you know what to look for. Not sure if your insurance addresses the risks facing your business? Contact Stewart Insurance to be confident your brokerage can withstand these risks. Stewart Insurance, 866-798-2827. StewartInsurance.com. That's StewartInsurance.com, or call 866-798-2827.
It's always extra exciting to welcome someone new to Stewart Title. We have a new associate. She is an escrow officer. Her name is Rosalie Dean. Rosalie, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And they say Sugarland. That's how sweet it is, right?
Yes.
That's where you're going to be working at our Sugarland office.
Yes.
Let's tell people a little bit about the office.
Okay. We have an amazing marketing rep, Michelle Racinos. Awesome branch manager, Caitlin Korenick, and we have another closer and 2 assistants.
Give us an idea, as far as being an escrow officer, many people that buy and sell homes, all they know is that, hey, we're going to close at Stewart Title, let's say, in Sugarland, even better, and they're going to close, but they don't know all the things that are a part of the closing. And there's so many details that you and other escrow officers are putting together. Just give us a little idea.
Yes, lots of details. Processing. That is a very in-depth process with, HOAs and surveys, dealing with the lender. Working with the realtors, other branches of Stewart's, attorneys. The list goes on and on. That's pretty much the behind-the-scenes part of it.
And it all comes together at that wonderful event that's called the closing. People get the keys, they get their checks, and they live happily ever after.
Yes.
That is awesome. And of all the things you could be doing, did you find your way into the escrow world?
Actually, I started right outside of high school. Got into it right out of high school, and while I was in college, a friend of mine told me that her friend had a open position for a title, and that's kind of how I got into it at a young age.
At a young age. So you really have learned a lot about the title business. Also, if someone wants to reach out to you and close at Stewart Title, like I know they want to, especially in Sugarland, what should they do?
They can either drive by 14100 Southwest Freeway, Suite 200 in Sugarland, or they can call us at 281-491-7050. 281-491-7050.
And there you are, right there in beautiful Sugar Land, Texas.
Yes.
You're helping people every day, and it's very exciting. Did they tell you when you got the job that we had a radio show?
They did not. This is awesome.
They were saving that surprise for later.
Yes.
And here you are.
Definitely a surprise.
And it was so awesome of Michelle Racinos to reach out and have you on the show. That is great. One more time, the number in Sugar Land?
281-491-7050.
And by the way, if you're listening out there and you want to close at another Stewart Title office, let's say you're in the Woodlands or anywhere else, just go to Stewart.com, find your closest office. Or if you're outside of Houston, same thing. We're an international company traded on the New York Stock Exchange as STC, but we're around the United States and even beyond. Certainly here in Houston and in beautiful Sugar Land, Texas, you'll find Rosalie Dean. Right, Rosalie?
Yes, that's right.
Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you.
If you're a real estate professional, then listen closely. Cyber criminals are targeting our industry. They are impersonating real estate professionals, homebuyers, sellers, and title agents. Their goal is to gain access to your inboxes, computers, and clients so they can steal information and funds. Does your business insurance offset these risks? Not sure? Contact Stewart Insurance to determine if your business is properly insured. Visit stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827. Visit stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827.
Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title would not be possible without our partner Stewart Insurance. With a focus in real estate and a special focus on real estate brokers, Stewart Insurance creates insurance plans to address the risks facing our industry today. They invest a significant amount of time helping real estate broker owners offset and manage their risks. Once again, the icing on the cake. Here he is, John Bramblett with Stewart Insurance.
Hi, Bill. How are you?
Great. Here you go. All kinds of things today, John.
All kinds of things. Always a great show.
And insurance is one of the things we like to put the cherry on top of the sundae.
Well, today the cherry is going to be wrapping up our series on understanding an E&O policy. So we spent the last few weeks going through the different elements of a errors and omissions policy and wanted to wrap that up for our listeners today.
And how do we do that?
Well, there's still a couple of other sections or areas to take a look at in either in your current errors and omissions policy or if you're considering a new policy, taking a look at what that plan might include. One of them is called duty to defend, and that's where the insurance partner, your insurance partner that you're working with, has the obligation to defend you if there's a claim against your firm alleging a wrongful act in the professional services that you provide. So even if the claim is groundless, there still needs to be a duty on the insurance partner's aspect to defend at least part of that claim. If you don't have the duty to defend coverage, that responsibility, that financial responsibility to cover that defense costs will fall on the individual firm.
Once again, so many complications when we think about the things that we need in a policy. This is one I've not even heard of before.
Absolutely. So again, it's just to make sure that you understand what the responsibilities of the insurance partner are and what your responsibilities as the insured on the coverage. Another one to take a look at is consent to settle. Most errors and omissions policies have a consent to settle section. An insurance partner is not going to settle a claim without the named insured's consent. However, if the named insured decides not to settle a claim, then there could be some differences in the coverage that's provided. There could be some reductions in the defense expenses. So it's important to understand what that coverage does and does not provide, so that you understand that if you decide that yes, there is an opportunity to settle, but you don't feel like it's in your best interest, that you understand what the repercussions of that decisions are.
Fascinating. What are some of the other things that we should know?
There's always an element about owned property that many times many plans exclude coverage from property that the insured has a financial interest in. So if you're a real estate broker and you work with properties that you own, that transaction, those professional services may not be covered. So you need to take a look at that. Or there's a set percent. So if you have financial interest, let's say, in property greater than 50%, that transaction may not be covered by your errors and omissions policy. So you want to take a look to see if there's a way that you could add some additional coverage to the policy. So at least on a third-party exposure, you've got some coverage.
What about now, this may be different, but the real estate broker, let's say, they have a building, they may own it, or they may rent that building.
Okay, but it's a completely different transaction. So the errors and omissions is around the professional services you provide as a broker.
So that's relating to the transaction.
Really, the transaction.
Okay.
So if you owned the building, then you would look for some commercial property coverage. You would look for some general liability coverage. If you had a big staff, potentially some workers' compensation coverage.
There you go. What else should we know?
I guess the last thing that we talked about would be what's called an extended reporting period endorsement, or you might hear it as a tail coverage. So let's say you're retiring, or you've sold your firm, or you're not going to do the business anymore. So there's not a need in your mind to renew your errors and omissions coverage. If you shut the coverage down, there's still a chance that there could be a claim against your firm for previous acts. What the tail coverage or the extended reporting period endorsement does is provide some coverage, not going forward, but again for anything that might have happened in the past. So you still have some coverage. It's generally a % of your premium, and it can be a couple of years. In some instances, it can be indefinitely. But it's a worthwhile investment to consider, at least for a few years after you shut a firm down.
So when you're talking about in the past, once again, we're talking about a transaction that might have occurred in the past.
That's exactly right. So if you ended your firm in 2021, but a former client feels like that you did not do the best you could from a professional services perspective, and they filed suit for you on a transaction that took place in 2017, if you no longer had the errors and omissions coverage, then you would not have coverage for that suit unless you had the extended reporting period endorsement.
So I want to mention also on your website, stewardinsurance.com, they could find out a lot of things as far as information, the complete menu, and perhaps also, I haven't checked lately, but there may be somewhere where some of these terms are brought to light and we learn a little bit more about the terminology in the insurance world because it is a different language.
Well, the website does a great job of explaining the different policies that one should consider if they're in the business of real estate. So whether they're a real estate broker, title and attorney agent, a property management firm, we have all the different plans that are available out there that can protect those folks' firms. Also, for individuals and families, we have the policies and plans that are available that we can help cover your home and your car, your motorcycle, flood insurance, wind insurance.
What about my watercraft?
Yes, your watercraft as well. So,
have.
Captain Bill, we've got your boat covered.
And the motorcycle I don't have,
and
or
the motorcycle
don't want,
you don't have. Yes.
But there you go. If anyone adds those things, you're right there to help them.
Absolutely, we have a team in place that'll make sure that all of our clients are properly insured.
That's super awesome, John. What else do you have? We got a couple minutes left.
Well, we're really fortunate that we've been growing, and we're looking for new team members. So if there's one of our listeners out there is a real estate professional, an insurance professional, especially if they have some experience on the personal line side. So they have experience writing home insurance plans, auto insurance plans, watercraft plans, likes to be part of a team, likes to work with clients to make sure that they're properly insured. We would love to visit with you and see if it makes sense because, as I said, we're growing and we're looking to add some associates on that side of the fence.
And when we think about, we talk to real estate people all the time. We hear about training and that. And one of the things your company shines on is training, ongoing, bringing levels of service to the next level at all times. It's awesome.
Absolutely. One of the guiding principles we have is built around continuing education and built around lifetime learners. So one of the things that we look for in associates that come on board are those that want to continue to learn, that want to be a subject matter expert, and that's important for us. So those are the kind of folks that we look for, and if that meets your criteria and that's the kind of professional that you are, we would love to have a conversation.
And they could do so by calling
866-798-2827, 866-798-2827.
And if there's someone out there having a problem with their air conditioner and they need to know about insurance, what number should they call?
866-798-2827.
What if they're in Washington State?
866-798-2827.
It's that simple.
It's that simple.
StewartInsurance.com. Super awesome. Thank you, John. And by the way, I want to remind people, as far as the series that John's been talking about, you can go to Stewart.com/radio and hear the last couple shows if they want to catch up on the previous things you've talked about, right, John?
Absolutely. I mean, everybody's going to want to know all they can about errors and emissions plans.
That's right. That's why we have this show. We know the needs that are out there. Once again, all they have to do is go to Stewart.com/radio. They can see it right there.
Absolutely.
Errors and omission all the way. Thank you so much, John Bramblett. And now we're going to bring back Neosia Ferris to have a last word. Neosia, welcome back.
Hey there.
What else should we know before we close out the show?
Again, I just want everyone to know that I'm here to help with your buyer needs, if you're wanting to sell, if you're looking for commercial or investments, and I can be reached at 832-368-6288.
One more time.
832-368-6288.
What if they need help in raising their children?
Oh, I'm
You're
definitely the one to call. I know how this goes down. I have the secret.
There you go. Thank you, Neosia Ferris. And here he is, Chuck Passe. Chuck, before we close things out.
You can reach me at chuckpasse.com. That's PASSE, 713-392-0600. You can call or text.
And you're out there at Coldwell Bankers in the Heights.
Yes, sir.
The famous Heights in Houston, Texas.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
The number again is?
713-392-0600.
Thank you so much, Chuck Passe. Olivia Durr with Just Fix It. Hey, if you come to my house, I'm going to say, just fix it. My air conditioner,
That's what we hope. That's what we hope.
JustFixItToday.com.
Right. And if folks haven't completed their spring AC maintenance, they can book that for only $59 on our website, which is JustFixItToday.com. Or they can call us at 281-617-2231.
Number again?
281-617-2231.
And that price, you said $59?
$59. That's good through the end of May.
And what do you get for $59?
We're going to clean your unit, inspect it, and get ahead of any potential breakdowns. That should last you all summer. If we don't make a recommendation to you and it does end up breaking down, we will credit that to the cost of any repair.
Holy smokes. That sounds like a very nice price to bring people out. Once again, they can reach you at?
281-617-2231.
Thank you so much, Olivia Durr. Thank you all for listening to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I am your host, Bill Knapik. Go to Stewart.com/radio. You can hear this show. You can even see the wonderful guests that we have on each and every show. That's right, at Stewart.com/radio. Stewart.com/radio, and we will see you next week. Thanks for listening.
In today's litigious society, it is imperative to have the proper insurance to offset the many risks facing your business, especially if you're a real estate broker. Your errors and omissions and cyber liability insurance can help limit the threat of these risks if you know what to look for. Not sure if your insurance addresses the risks facing your business? Contact Stewart Insurance to be confident your brokerage can withstand these risks. Stewart Insurance, 866-798-2827. StewartInsurance.com. That's StewartInsurance.com or call 866-798-2827. If you're a real estate professional, then listen closely. Cyber criminals are targeting our industry. They are impersonating real estate professionals, homebuyers, sellers, and title agents. Their goal is to gain access to your inboxes, computers, and clients so they can steal information and funds. Does your business insurance offset these risks? Not sure? Contact Stewart Insurance to determine if your business is properly insured. Visit StewartInsurance.com or call 866-798-2827. Visit StewartInsurance.com or call 866-798-2827. Visit StewartInsurance.com or call 866-798-2827. Visit StewartInsurance.com or call 866-798-2827.